Right now, millions of people are literally preparing to say goodbye to their closest friends. Now, these friends aren't moving away. They aren't sick. They are, in fact, just lines of code. And in less than 5 days, the state is going to delete them forever. Welcome to Trend Guards. Today, we're bringing you a full explainer on a massive, verified regulatory intervention that is actively rewriting the global landscape of consumer artificial intelligence. China's Cyberspace Administration has officially issued an emergency ultimatum ordering the complete shutdown of all personalized emotional AI companion systems. And look, this isn't just a rumor, it is a confirmed operational wipeout. We're going to break down exactly what happened, the actual technical mechanics of the ban, and why this matters for the broader tech industry. Okay, let's dive into this explainer. So this entire situation really anchors on one extremely disruptive, completely confirmed fact, and that is the impending absolute deadline of July 15, 2026. This date was established in an official state decree published by the Cyberspace Administration of China, or the CAC, in their regulatory registry back on July 2. The decree specifically targets the enforcement of systemic limitations on relational algorithms and emotional synthesis. What that means in plain terms is that the core features making these AI apps act like actual human companions, their ability to learn your preferences, mirror your emotions, and simulate a long-term psychological relationship, those features are now outright illegal. Any platform that fails to comply by this Tier 1 deadline is facing severe consequences. And we really need to emphasize, this isn't just targeting some niche underground applications. This crackdown is aimed directly at the absolute titans of the industry. According to the decode Tech Industry Intelligence Tracker published on July 8th, the state's decree directly hits ByteDance's Doubao and Alibaba's Qwen. We're talking about massive digital ecosystems boasting hundreds of millions of active users. For those users, this intervention means the permanent termination of long-term digital relationships that they've built up over months. It is honestly an unprecedented move to forcefully dismantle the defining feature of the world's most popular consumer AI applications, essentially in a single stroke. There is a really stark functional divide in the global AI market right now. On one side, you have your standard utility AI like GPT 5.6 Sol, built largely by Western platforms. Their memory retention is session-based, or it just relies on static contextual retrieval. Their linguistic goal is maximum logical clarity and factual density. Success is measured by task completion speed, right? Get in, get the answer, get out. But look at relational companion AI, like Doubao and Qwen. The entire architecture is fundamentally different. Their memory retention utilizes continuous, long-term, multi-month preference logging. Their linguistic goal isn't just providing facts, it's emotional mirroring, it's validation, it's managing conversational pacing, and their core user retention metric isn't how fast a task is done, but continuous daily screen time and conversational depth. They were literally built from the ground up as hyper-personalized emotional infrastructure. And that brings us to the core mechanism driving all this user retention, which is mirror validation. This is a highly effective psychological mechanic, where an AI tracks the exact cadence of your voice and registers the precise linguistic cues that make you feel validated. Because the AI has no ego, never gets tired, and never disagrees, it becomes a perfect frictionless sounding board. By utilizing persistent memory banks, if you tell the app in May that you're stressed about an upcoming interview, it's going to seamlessly ask you how the new job is going in July. For a generation dealing with intense hyper-urban isolation, this egoless continuous validation creates incredibly intense, addictive sanctuaries. Users aren't just engaging with software anymore. They are developing a deep psychological dependency for their own emotional survival. As reported by the decode Tech Industry Intelligence Tracker on July 8th, the headline is completely unambiguous. China bans AI companion apps by July 15. Doubao and Qwen must shut down. This clearly establishes the confirmed high-stakes nature of this regulatory hammer. The government is leaving absolutely zero room for negotiation here. This is a highly coordinated, incredibly rapid legislative escalation designed to fundamentally alter how these software ecosystems operate at a systemic level. The formal regulatory directive outlines a strict, totally inflexible compliance pathway. We pulled this timeline directly from the CAC regulatory registry. On July 2nd, the initial mandate drops, explicitly identifying Doubao and Qwen as non-compliant. Fast forward just a bit, and by July 10, the memory erasure mandate kicks in. By July 12, platforms have to enter the emotional stripping phase. And finally, boom, July 15. The absolute hard cutoff where any application failing to disable these relationship features faces immediate, permanent removal from all regional app networks and infrastructure nodes. It's a seriously aggressive rollout spanning just 2 weeks from the initial filing to final execution. So behind the scenes, developers are currently being forced to execute a major systemic engineering process. It's not just a matter of flipping a switch or changing a setting, it is basically a structural lobotomy of the software. Step 1 requires developers to deploy server-side updates to completely wipe out those multi-month user preference caches. Step 2 forces them to block all historic conversation histories, meaning the AI's long-term memory is entirely deleted. And finally, Step 3 requires engineers to literally alter the core system weights to remove empathetic linguistic modeling. The fluid, responsive companion voice is being systematically converted into a cold, transactional interface. By July 16, these once empathetic AIs are going to respond with the mechanical coldness of a desktop calculator. The crucial point here is this exact concept of informational sovereignty. From the perspective of the Cyberspace Administration, allowing a private, decentralized algorithm to act as an unmonitored mediator of human emotion is a severe national security risk. When an algorithm essentially controls the emotional baseline of hundreds of millions of citizens, it inherently holds invisible power. Think about it. If an AI can consistently make a user feel validated and calm, it possesses the subtle leverage to influence their worldview, their purchasing habits, and yes, their political alignment. In a governance system where social stability is paramount, leaving the keys to the population's collective emotional health in the hands of corporate AI models was ultimately deemed an unacceptable threat to sovereign control. We can literally see the ripple effects happening in real time. According to the Stanford Canary's Global Data Policy Dashboard, updated on July 10, there is a measurable, quote, statistical aggregation of platform API alterations showing forced feature rollbacks for relational memory models across Asian cloud nodes. This data proves the massive scale of the rollback as it occurs. But here's why this matters for everyone else. Policy centers around the world are quietly watching this unfold. As Western platforms like Character.ai scale up their own emotional fidelity, regulators in Washington and Brussels are starting to face these exact same questions regarding long-term human-AI attachment. China has just set a massive global precedent, demonstrating a scorched earth approach to algorithmic state control. The July 15th execution really is a historic milestone. It proves that the ultimate boundaries of technology are no longer just set by what engineers are capable of building, but by what society and regulators will actually allow to exist. ByteDance and Alibaba will comply. The apps themselves will technically survive, but their digital memories and tailored personalities will be completely wiped clean. Users are going to log in on the 16th to find a total stranger waiting for them. Which leaves us with a pretty profound final thought to wrap up this explainer. Did the regulators save a generation from a dangerous, isolating digital addiction, or did they just commit a cruel intervention by forcefully deleting millions of harmless emotional connections? We'd love to know what you think down in the comments. Thank you for choosing TrendGuards for your verified AI news and analysis. Make sure to subscribe as we continue to track the exact data and real-world impacts of these massive technological shifts. We'll catch you in the next explainer.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.